All right. So another major reason why I also wanted you on the podcast, Daniel, is because you were a former park ranger. And I know our listeners, the Just Trek listeners, are going to absolutely love this because you will be our first former park ranger on the show. So I applaud you. So, what I want to know is during your former park ranger days, one, how's that experience and what park were you stationed at? And I want you to walk us through that lifestyle a bit.
Okay, so I was a park ranger at Katmai, Katmai, Katmai National Park in Alaska. It's about the size of Connecticut. It's on the Aleutian Island, where it starts. Um, Katmai is the place where if you look on it, where like the iconic picture is where the bear stands on top of the waterfall and the salmon jump in his mouth.
That's there?
That's Katmai. That's Katmai. We have
Wow.
the biggest diverse. We have the biggest population of brown bears and grizzly bears in the world. Every summer, they all flock to Katmai area just because, like, the lake and especially the river flows with salmon, and they all just bunker down and just all they do is eat. So it is like I think it's the coolest national park in the world.
And you just happen to be a park ranger there.
Yeah, I just happen to be a park
badass.
ranger. It was pretty awesome. So yeah, to get there, you have to fly to Anchorage, and then you have to take another plane out west to Katmai. But it's definitely worth the trip. It's like the closest thing you'll get to Jurassic Park. You're walking down the trail, and you see a bear walking down. You're like, all right, I'm going to stop and move that way. And then you go and you turn around, and then you see 3 bears sleeping down on the beach. You're like, okay, I can't go that way either. So I'm going to go this way.
Okay, I got to ask you right now. So what is the proper protocol? You see a bear. What kind of bears are these?
These are called brown bears. Now, brown bears and grizzly bears are the same thing, except that brown bears are more coastal and grizzly bears are more interior. But brown bears are much bigger because they rely on fish and salmon as their diet.
And what is the proper protocol for if you see a brown bear or a grizzly bear? Like, what are you supposed to do? Because there's so much information out there. So I'm curious to know if you have more insight into that.
So the proper protocol is 50 feet away, 50 feet away, and walk away.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. 50 feet away, walk away slowly. Walk away slowly in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
Don't run. These brown bears, most animals in general, but brown bears as well, they're like big dogs to me. And when I say big dogs, it's like if you see a dog and you start running, they don't even know what they're doing, but they're going to run with you.
Great analogy.
Exactly. So don't run because they might just be like, I don't know what's going on, but I see you and you're running, so I'm going to run with you too. So you should definitely be 50 feet away and walk the opposite direction.
What if, because I always hear this constantly, people say, make yourself appear bigger than you are, like make noise, or if you have hiking poles and like wave them around, like what is your thoughts on those tips and advice? Do they have validity to it, or
if they're coming close to you, you should talk to them. Talking helps in 2 ways. It helps calm you down. It makes you, psychologically feel like you're more in control. But you shouldn't scream. You should, and it allows the bear to know where you are. Some of these bears, they're walking, they're food drunk sometimes, and they're walking with their heads down low, and they can't see. They don't see you sometimes. And if you talk to it, they're like, oh, there's a person there. Okay,
interesting.
You should not
food drunk.
Yeah, you shouldn't act violent to them. You should not make yourself look big and stuff like that because they are much bigger. When we were park rangers, we had guns when needed, but they were not for the bears. These, I'm not going to lie, these you cannot kill a bear with like a pistol or a handgun. That's not going to do anything to them. These. You need like shotguns, and I'm guaranteed you don't have a shotgun when you're hiking.
Sure.
So
just on you.
Yeah. So best is to just walk away. Bear spray does work. It works a little bit, but that's last resort.
Interesting. So with going back to you just being a park ranger, like what was like that lifestyle like? Like can you walk us through like what you would do on a typical day, like from the morning, afternoon to the evening?
So morning would be around 8 a.m. You wake up, eat breakfast, and then you. Every park ranger has different job duties. Each day, whether you're working in the visitor center, whether you're giving guided hikes, whether you're manning lookout posts, whether you have a day off. Um, there's different kinds of hikes out there that we have guides in. So we have a rolling schedule just to keep the work fresh and not boring and monotonous. And so my favorite thing to do was to man the lookout station for. We have a platform at the waterfall where all the bears gather. That's my favorite part because that's the busiest part.
That was part of your duties to overlook that?
Well, you have to manage the platform because there's so many photographers there. There's
Mm.
so many photographers there, and it's the most entertaining because you get to see the bears, eat fish all the time. Um, but I think my other favorite area would be the visitor center because people, if you can imagine, people fly in land on they fly in and they land on the water, the lake, and it goes to the beach and they get shuffled into the visitor center. And on the beach, there's like bears left and right just hanging out. And the first thing they do is shuffle into the bear visitor center for bear training. Basically, we
Wow.
give a 30 to 45-minute training session, Q&A session on how to do with bear come. And sometimes a bear walks by the windows of the visitor centers. And I love it because you get to see the look on the people's faces. They're like, serious?
They're like, this is a real national park. This is not the one where you have to like hike into the canyon to see any kind of wildlife.
No,
It's just they come to you.
they come to you. They literally come to you, and the look on some people's faces, it's pretty fun.
Hmm.
and, after that, we're like, all right, good luck. No, we don't
Was
say
there
good. We
any
don't say good luck, but
sure.
we do our job and we lead guided hikes and everything like that. It's fun because you can see the same. Like I said, it's the closest thing you'll get to Jurassic Park these days.
Was there any crazy experiences where you had to like save a visitor or anything to that degree where you had to there was kind of a rescue mission of some sort?
So I mean, I could send you pictures, but there's like
Okay.
so we have a river that's super popular, super loaded with salmon. You have to cross the river. It's a float bridge. So basically, it's a bridge on top of a bunch of barrels, a lot of barrels, and it's just floating on water. You have to cross it. That bridge is very it's key to the park in terms of people flow. But if there's a bear on one side and there's bears on the other side, and the people are in the middle of the thing, uh, you need really good park ranger communication
Oh my
on how
god.
to lead people across. And that's why, like, during my park ranger interview, they're like they're just like hammering on like me on communication questions. Like, have you been in like stressful situations? How would you communicate this to people? How would you do this? Because that is one of the most stressful situations, and it happens all the time. You want to lead them across the bridge, but there's bears. Where are the bears? Are they in the water as well? Where are they? They here? Where are
Hmm.
they here? And there's times where there were bears on both sides of the bridges. There were people in the middle, and then there were bears swimming in the water.
My god, it's like a bear standoff on like three different sides of
Oh, I
you.
kid you not. Yeah, and there's photos of this, and but no one was harmed. No one's injured. No, nothing like that. Both human and bears were fine. It's just that you need good communication for things like that to happen. Things to work out.
Whew, what a visual that you just painted. You like had me on the edge of my seat. I was just imagining myself in the middle of that floating bridge, just like, okay, there's like 20 bears surrounding me. Shit.
Yep. And you know what? It's we're lucky in that, at least in that park, the bears, their primary source of food is salmon.
Hmm.
They don't eat anything else. They don't eat squirrels. They don't eat berries. They don't eat They don't even eat other fish. I saw a bear one time, he accidentally caught a rainbow trout. For us, rainbow trout's great. He accidentally caught a rainbow trout. He took a bite of it and he just tossed it over his shoulder. He was like, "What is this? This is not what I'm going for."
That's crazy.
They're there for salmon, so they really just mind your own business. They're like, humans, mind your own business. I'm minding my own business. Leave me alone. Just let me eat my fish.